Hello students, in this video we will solve question number 11. This question was in the board exam of class 12th this year. We'll solve it here now. We have to find the missing values. These two are the missing values here. If the value of GDP at FC by expenditure method and income method is rupees 920 crore. We know that by whatever method we use, we get the same aggregates value. So they have given to us that is 920 crore. And with the help of this and the table, we have to find these two missing values. Okay. So I can demarcate the space for both methods. Two methods will be used here, expenditure as well as income. One thing is government final consumption expenditure. Okay, let me first write what is given. That is GDP X 920. Now to find government final consumption expenditure, we must think about if it is the part of which formula or which method. We know this is expenditure and it is the part of expenditure method. So by using expenditure method and taking the help of GDP-FC and the other components given here, we can find the value of government final consumption expenditure. But one more thing we have to think, it is that when we use expenditure method, in the formula of that, do we use GDP-FC? No, in the formula of expenditure method, we use GDP at market price. So it will be good if we first find GDP MP and afterwards we will use the formula of expenditure method in the form of GDP MP. How to find GDP MP with the help of GDP-FC? GDP-FC we will write at the right hand side. Now we have to convert this to left side one. Both are gross, no change. Both are domestic, no change. Factor to market, there will be change. Factor cost doesn't involve net indirect taxes. This involves. So we will add net indirect taxes. Or we could add indirect taxes minus subsidies. But we are given net indirect taxes. So we will just write plus NIT. Okay, then GDP at market price equal to GDP-FC is 920 and net indirect taxes is 80 crores. That's it. Hence, we obtain its value by adding these two as 1000 crore. That is GDP at market price. Now, we can simply use the formula which we use in expenditure method that consists of the aggregate GDP MP. GDP MP is private final consumption expenditure plus government final consumption expenditure plus gross domestic capital formation. Are we given gross domestic capital formation? We are given gross domestic fixed capital formation. So instead of writing gross domestic capital formation, I can write gross domestic fixed capital formation plus inventory or change in stock. Am I given? Yes. We know these two together constitute gross domestic capital formation. So if we are given the things in parts, it is better to write them in parts. So here I'll write, you can write either number 3 or this whole statement line, or in simple, in short, I'll write gross domestic fixed capital formation plus change in stock. Or number 5, okay. Change in stock. Finally, last 1, 2, 3. These two are together same thing. When we add them, we get gross domestic capital formation. And last thing is net exports or plus exports minus imports. As I am given net exports, so it is good to write directly net exports. I'll put the values now. GDP MP is 1000. Private final consumption expenditure is 540. Government final consumption expenditure is to be calculated. Gross domestic fixed capital formation is 250. Change in stock, that is 120. Net exports, that is here minus 60 plus minus 60. Now by solving this, we can easily find government final consumption expenditure. 1000 plus 540 plus 250 plus 120 plus minus 60 plus government final consumption expenditure. Okay. I can bring all these terms to the left side and GFC will remain at the right side. Minus 540, signs change when we change the places from right to left or left to right. Minus 120, this minus 60 becomes plus 60 equal to government final consumption expenditure. Now we'll solve this. These three are of the same sign. We can add them and we can add 60 with 1000. So this is 1060 and these three will be added being of the same sign. 540 and 250, 750, 790, 890 and 2910. This is government final consumption expenditure. I have subtracted 1000 and sorry, I added 1060 first. Then I have added these three. Then now I'll subtract these two. So how much it comes? 910, 1010, that is 150. Expenditure. That's it. Or finally, we can write here government final consumption expenditure is equal to rupees 150 crores. That is the answer. So one missing value we have found using the expenditure method. Now we will find the second missing value. What is that? That is operating surplus. Operating surplus is the part of which method? It is the part of income method. Again, what we are given here also by income method, we are given the same GDP-FC as 920 crore. Okay, here I could write expenditure method anywhere. Okay, on the front also I could write, on the top, sorry, expenditure method. Here I can write now income method. Okay, so what is given? GDP-FC. That is equal to 920 crore. All right. Okay. What I need in income method? Which aggregate is used? We know in expenditure method, the formula uses GDP-MP, and we must know that in income method, the formula uses NDP-FC. Not GDP-MP, neither GDP-FC or any other aggregate. Income method, the formula involves the aggregate NDP at factor cost. And I am given GDP at factor cost. So my first priority is to get NDP-FC with the help of GDP-FC. All right. Okay. Gross to net minus depreciation. Are we given depreciation? We are given this. Okay. We are given this consumption of fixed capital. That is 140. So I will rather write it simply number 6. Okay. I hope you understand this. This is depreciation. Then domestic, no change. Then factor to factor, no change. Only one change was required. I could have written here consumption of fixed capital as well. All right. GDP-FC is 920 and the minus that 6 depreciation is 140. So it comes out to be as 920, 820, 780 crores. That's it. This is NDP-FC. So the main thing here to understand is that we find the correct aggregate that we have to use in the formula. It shall not happen that we don't remember which aggregate is to be used and we use the wrong aggregate. And if we do that, even if we understand the sum very well, we will not be able to solve it in the right manner. So I have to use the formula of income method. NDP-FC equal to, what is this? Incomes will be added. So compensation of employees. Are we given? Yes. compensation of employees is given directly, plus mixed income of the self-employed are be given, yes, mixed income. Final is operating surplus that I need to calculate. Okay, operating surplus. NDTFC is 780. Compensation of employees is 420. Mixed income is 210. Operating surplus is unknown. That is to be calculated. 780, I'll bring these two here. These two when add, they give us 630 minus 630, that is equal to operating surplus. Finally, operating surplus equal to, the difference is 630, 730, 150 rupees, 150 crore. So both answers are same. Okay, we could see that in the first case, when we found the unknown value, that is government final consumption expenditure, that was 150 crore, and here this operating surplus is also 150 crore. So these two are the correct answers, and you have seen very well how to find two values, two separate values, and to use separate methods to find the each value. So here two methods were involved in the same question, and two different components we had to calculate, which were used in either of the methods. One, government funding consumption expenditure in expenditure method, and operating surplus in the income method. That's all. Thanks.